Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone. First of all, thank you for taking the time to listen. So we are from group 1, which consists of
Muhammad Hambali, Wahyu Wardana, Rehuela, Tri Astuti Diah Kusuma Wardani, and Aura Mahoni Pitaloka.
Okay, first of all, before we discuss it more, is it better for us to know first what expressive language is? So, expressive language is one of learning language theories that focus on the use of words, sentences, gestures, and writing to convey or deliver the meaning and the message to others. Expressive language skills include the ability to describe actions and events, put words together in sentences, use grammar correctly. For example, I am eating, not me eating. Retell a story, answer questions, and write short stories. Expressive language learning is an important aspect for children because it allows them to be able to express their wants and needs, their thoughts and ideas, develop their use of language, and engage in direct interaction with others. Okay, and next, how to implement expressive language learning to children or young learners. So in this video, we would like to give you 3 easy ways that you can use. The first is through play activities. For young learners, learning by playing is one way that suits with them because they tend to get bored more quickly, so it must be done in a fun way. In this way, we can ask simple questions like what toys or games they like, how to play it, and so on, which will make interactions between children and the teachers. The second is talk to child. In this way, we can ask about things related to everyday life. For example, where do you live, what your parents' job, what your hobbies, what is your favorite movie, and so on. And the last one is using books. Books here, I mean books that have picture as the content that will make young learners feel curious and interested with the book. Usually, children will respond to the picture they see. Maybe they will ask what picture it is, and then the teacher can develop or build the questions into a new interactions. Okay, I think that's all about my explanation. The next explanation will be delivered by Aura Mahoni Pitaloka.
So next, here with me, Aura Mahoni Pitaloka. So I would like to explain about the characteristic and the problem of student in expressive language teaching. First, I will tell you that the characteristic of expressive language teaching, there are more burdensome on the use of word and gesture to give message to students. Second, focus on using proper grammar. Third, students are free to express themselves in this method. Next, the relationship between the teacher and the student is quite close, making it easier to understand the characteristic of students. And the last, focus on interesting learning techniques so that students do not become bored. And the next explanation about the problem of student in expressive language teaching. There are limited vocabulary use. Next, use of non-specific vocabulary like thing, stuff, and then difficulty defining and describing. Fourth, unable to recall the appropriate word to use. Next, poor grammar. And next, short or incomplete sentences. And the next, there are difficulty telling stories. Next, unable to clearly convey a concept or idea. And the last, problem putting sentences together coherently. That's all. Thank you.
Hello, in this part, we will talk about learning the spoken language. So the learning spoken language is divided into 9 parts, but in my part I will tell you about the first to third part of the learning spoken language. The first part is learning spoken language, but it's talk about guiding principles, and the second is discourse and discourse events, and the third that I will talk about learning spoken language is the meaning first. So we will going to the first learning spoken language. The first part is guiding principles. Let's go. Alright, we are at the first chapter about the learning the spoken language. So we will talk about the guiding principle. So this chapter deals with the development of children's skill in spoken language, and in this part I will tell you about there is two guiding principle in teaching. The first is meaning first, or the meaning first. The meaning first is like the children need to understand. The children need to know about the start to the new learning. They need to know first, because if the children don't understand about what they will start, what they will learn, they can learn it. So they need to understand first, and they need to know first. The second is about the discourse. If the children want to at a discourse, they need to participate in that discourse. They must to build their knowledge in that and in discourse participants. Okay, after we talk about the guiding principles, so we will see about how it's established, the discourse, and what is used. So there's the first is turns into meanings, like what I said before, that the children need to understand, but it's still guided by the teacher. Also, there is a talk with the peoples in the classroom, but yes, it's still guided by the teacher too. And after we talk about the guiding principle, we will talk about the next chapter is discourse and discourse event. So discourse and discourse events, it's divided into 2 ways in literature. The first is discourse is contrast with the text to emphasize that the use of language, and the second is contrast with the sentence. Okay, there's the 2 sense of discourse. The first is the most important sense of discourse is that all language is used in a context, and the second is that the the purpose of the language, or the purpose of discourse, how we can use it properly. So the goal of the discourse is to make the children is able to talk or discourse in the reality. Alright, we are in the last of my part. So we will talk about the meaning first. The meaning first is divided into 3. The first is the children strive in meaning first. So the children strive in meaning first is like when the children want to do a discourse or want to do a spoken language, they need to know with their previous knowledge, and they will able to do that. And the next is why the teacher need to check that the meaning is accessible is when the children is don't understand, the teacher is quiet them and correct it. the children will help them. And the last is the meaning of speaking and listening. Speaking and listening is also the important part in the spoken language, because it's also the skills to use at it. Okay, to sum up is the goal of this course or the spoken language is to make the children is talk with their foreign language, but they need to know first about it, and we as the teacher is to lead them and profit them and correct them when they work. Okay, it's all from me. Thank you.
Analyze of a text in action. There are several aspects of discourse skills. The first is text plane. This section will analyze. The first is cognitive demands, the second is language demands, the third is discourse demands, the fourth is interactional demands, and the fifth is involvement demands. The second is the text in action. The aim of this section is the teacher helps out the pupils by asking questions. The third is language used in text. In this section, the pupils' talk clearly demonstrates that speaking is much more demanding than listening. The fourth is use of formulaic language, that is about confirming what is people talking about and to know their language knowledge. The fifth is selecting and adapting language online. The pupils try to communicate the meaning of the language and to know the people's understanding of the language spoken. Discourse skills development in childhood. This section sets the discourse skill demanded by the test in broader picture of discourse skills development in childhood. In this section, we will see how the foreign language discourse development. The first is conversation and extended talk. The teacher's plan was to generate extended talk in the form of a description. Conversation, interaction, and extended talk are two major types of discourse that can be developed in both first and foreign language. The second is development of conversational skills in childhood. It is about taking responsibility for how other people will understand what people say and for making sure that you understand them. The third is developing children's discourse repertoires. Increasing people's range or repertoire of discourse skills, types, and develop skills to produce different types of talk and increasingly long stretches of talk, including narratives, descriptions, instructions, and opinions. Effective support for children's foreign language discourse skills. This section is about to see how teachers can support children's oral skills development. The first is support through motivating topics. It is a sure way to do this is by building into a test of what is saying. Encourage them to choose which they will talk about, and if they lack information, they may at least be motivated to discover it. The second is support through task structure. It is about skills development is through their structure, and in particular through the preparation stage. If producing a description is the core activity in our task, with goals and outcome decided on, then preparation stage allows for preliminary work to assemble ideas, vocabulary and sentence, and to put and rehearse and extended descriptions. The third is support through language practice. It is for helping people building discourse skills at work, praise, and close level.
Okay, and I will start from short activities for learning spoken language. Okay, some activities of learning speaking or listening, such as words, phrases, and sentences, can be done by set of pictures and also can be improved to other topics. And with pictures, students will think that the activities feel more like games. And because of that, they will fast moving and sometimes have a competitive edge. The picture can be used again and again, but with the level increased. And here are some of the activities. First, listening and doing. Propose to listen to the name and characteristic of animals and then play games. Then the student will gradually speak as well as listen. 1. Listen and identify. This activity makes students listen to the name of the picture and identify which picture that have been told by pointing at the picture. And then it can be improved by giving the students only the characteristic, not the name. 2. Bingo. Each pupils choose set of pictures consists of 5 to 6 pictures. Then the teacher will say random names of stuff or animals in the picture. When a pupil hears one of his or her animal or stuff names, she or he turn that picture over. The first one with all the pictures turned over shouts bingo and is the winner. This can be developed by the teacher by saying only the features rather than the names. Or pupils do it in small group and become the ones to say the name. 3. Listen and takeaway. Pupils start with full set of pictures. Then the teachers ask them to take away certain animals. For the example, take the animals with wings, fur, and beak until one only animal is left. Anyone who has the animal is a winner. This activity gives the teacher information about students who understand and who is not. Number 4. Find the odd one out. The teacher says the name of 4 to 5 animals. Then the pupils pick them and decide which one is the odd one out. Pupils may not be able to say in English the odd reason, but they can try, and the teacher can then give the full phrase or sentence, and they gradually learn the because phrases. Number 5. Listen and put. Pupils draw a cage and a house and a field on a sheet of paper and follow the teacher's instruction of where to place the animal picture, and this activity can be varied by changing the form of the pictures. It can be a map and habitat of the animals and many more. Number 2. Listening and saying. This activity requires pupils to say something either as individuals or all together in chorus. Number 1. Look and say. Teacher hold up a picture and the pupils say the animal's name. By moving around the picture very quickly, the pupils get lots of enjoyable practice in saying the names. Number 2. Listen and choose. Teacher gives the pupil a description of an animal. Each pupil chooses one animal and tells the class or his or her partner what they have chosen. For the example, choose your favorite pet or animal with 4 legs and a tail. And number 3, listen and sort. The teacher names some animals and pupils pick out their picture. They then have to describe the group that they have. For the example, dangerous animals. And number 4, tennis game. Pupils are divided into 2 teams across the classroom. A pupil from each team says an animal alternately until the last one who can't say lose. This is an excellent vocabulary revision activity that can be played in a few minutes with a range of topics. For the example, animals, part of animals, things the animal eats, and habitats. Number 5. Guess my animal. Question. Like name, this activity requires questions. So the teacher or pupils choose an animal but doesn't tell. So they need to guess the animal by asking yes or no question. But the question will need to be modeled by the teacher first. And the last one is guess my animal action. In this guessing name, they need to act out the animal so the other pupils know what animal is being acted out. With gestures, they need to perform a gesture of the animal and the other students or pupils have to guess what animal is being acted out. And next, supporting the spoken language with written language. In classes of older students who have mastered reading and writing, written text often support the learning of spoken language. For children, learning to be literate in their first language, this which begins to happen at around 8 or 9 years of age. Before the switch point, oral language is more helpful than written language, and after the switch point, written language can be functionally more useful. And C. Using dialogues. 1. Dialogues and discourse. It is very common to find dialogues in children's foreign language course books. At first sight, it may seem that their looks are exactly what we need to give children practice in discourse level talk. Dialogues are unknown historical legacy children's foreign language teaching that have been passed down to us from adult language learning. The next is the language learning opportunities of dialects. It is no good thinking that pupils are being helped to practice talking in the foreign language if they are actually being drilled in sentence pattern. But some parts of a dialogue may offer useful phrases that could be learned by heart. Dialogues may offer genuine samples of spoken language, contextualized sentence patterns that are not very like the spoken language, written sentences that resemble what people might say, practice of sentence patterns, a grammatical drill in disguise, scripts written like short theatrical plays. And that's all from us, and thank you for watching and listening. If there are any mistakes, we're very sorry for that, and if there are any questions, please comment below. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good morning, everyone.